All right, we've got a carburetor off of a Kawasaki Prairie 400, and I wanted to show you a large problem that a lot of the carburetors have, and a lot of people miss it because it's not typically something you check for when you're going through and rebuilding a carburetor. It's not something you can replace and could cause one of the biggest problems with a four-wheeler not running correctly, and you may be overlooking it. So got the bottom bowl pulled off already. 4 screws to pull that bottom bowl off. I've done countless videos on the jets, the orifices, cleaning those out, make sure carburetors are in clean working condition, make sure your bowl here is in clean condition, pull all these jets out, make sure they look good, make sure they work good. What I do see too many times is a pin that holds your float on is these posts are worn and there is way too much wear. And what you see when that's the case is a lot of times you'll be able to see this float move around like crazy, and fuels continue to dump in, even though you may have your setting right on your float, because this moves around so much. So what is going on here is this pin that runs through these 2 posts here, because it's constantly going up and down, up and down, up and down, and there's movement there, that pin actually wears these posts out, and this pin just falls out of there. And it won't fall out when your bowl is on, but that's just kind of a good way to look at that. If this pin moves in and out way too freely, there should be a little bit of drag there. Then you may want to look at these holes to make sure that they're not bored out and too big. Now, to fix this, there's really no fix the right way. You need to replace that carburetor. What you could potentially do is, if you've got a aluminum welder or you've got somebody to machine this, you could stick this pin in there and fill in that gap there. Now, this pin doesn't actually have to move up and down. Your float will do that on your pin, if that makes sense. So even if your pin there is stuck in place, your float is will still go up and down just fine. You do want to make sure that if you do that with a weld or some other kind of a JB weld type situation, that's just kind of what I would call a jimmy rig, but it is possible. Hold that in the center there, and make sure that pin is in the center, if that makes sense. If you've got questions on that, leave those in the comments below. Again, it's not something I like. It's not something I'm going to do for a customer's machine, but that is a way to do a quick fix on here. If you're needing to get a ride in, you're not didn't realize that this part was the issue, and you're going to go replace this carburetor. The carburetor's not going to be here in time. You can potentially do that, and it's going to work for a while. Now you go to rebuild your carburetor, then more than likely you're going to break those posts off of there. If you put some sort of a weld on here, this pin needs to slip in and out. So keep that in mind as well. It's kind of be a one-time deal, and that carb is toast after that. So keep that in mind also. But I just wanted to show you that little trick and show you what to look for on these carburetors. So thanks for watching.